Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Helen and I am a 17-year-old, currently a senior in high school. In this video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be giving you guys tips on the whole college application process. I know how mysterious it may seem because even when I was a junior, I was pretty much clueless about how the whole process worked. There were some things that I learned throughout the process that I wish I would have known beforehand, so I want to share that with all of you and hopefully help you so that if you are going to be applying to college, it makes the whole process a little smoother and easier. I have written down the tips that I want to give you guys, and I have a total of 7 tips. So I separated into before applying, during the application process, and after applying. Since I applied only to schools in the US, that's what I'm going to be mainly focusing on, I guess. Yeah, so that might be a bit different from your experience if you're applying to schools in other countries. Without further ado, let's get started. The very first tip I have is to get organized. For me, since my freshman year, you don't need to make it this early, but I don't know, I was really stressed about it since my freshman year and I thought I had to be prepared. So I actually made a Google sheet of all the information that I would need in order to apply to college. I think I was like a little too extra by this, but trust me, this helps so much in the process. I don't know, I am an overthinker and I worry too much, so for me, having this Google sheet was a really good thing for my mind because that made my mind peaceful and I felt like I was in control and I had all the information. So yeah, really recommend for you to make a Google sheet of all the information and just overall stay organized. My second tip is to reach out to people that you know from these schools. Although it might still be early, you want to do your research as early as you can so that you can compare all the information you have and figure out what is best for you. If you have a friend, sister, or a brother who went to a school that you might be interested in, don't be afraid to just reach out and be like, oh, what is your experience like? What do you recommend? And anything that you're interested in. You might think that you're annoying them, but in reality, everyone wants to help. I don't know about everyone, but I'm pretty sure most people want to help, so just don't hesitate to ask questions. That includes going to like college fairs and asking those representatives questions as well, and asking things from people online, because you want to have as much information as you can so that you can later on decide which colleges and universities you want to apply to. Moving on, I want to talk about things that are gonna help you during the application process. So tip number 3 is to put all your due dates in a calendar. Honestly, the Common app does a pretty good job of keeping track of all your application due dates, but other than that, it's a better idea to keep it all in like your separate calendar as well, because there might be scholarship deadlines, financial aid deadlines, and things like that. Trust me, when you're applying to many colleges, you're going to lose track of which colleges do when. So if you put it all in a place where you can see, you can kind of plan out which applications you want to work on first and be more strategic about it. Tip number 4 is also something you can use during the application process, and it is to take advantage of fee waivers. If you're a person who has an email inbox of over 2,000 emails, it's time for you to change that, because you might be missing out on a really great opportunity to apply to a college without having to pay the application fees. Each college charges around $70 to $80 for application fee, and when you apply to 10 or more colleges, that really adds up, and you have to send in your SAT scores, AP scores, things like that. From the start of the school year, colleges are going to be spamming you with a lot of emails, and although they're kind of overwhelming at times because a lot of schools will be sending email per day, sometimes those emails are actually very important. Although they could be a little too much at times, just try to keep an eye out for some like keywords that might interest you. So for me, I decided to apply to USF, one because the campus is beautiful and I've heard good things about it, but what actually like caught my eye was their fee waivers if we apply early action. So I was like, why not? Like, there's no reason I don't want to apply. So yeah, that is my 4th tip, which is to check your email regularly and to take advantage of fee waivers. My 5th tip, I don't think I've heard anyone say this before, but for me personally, this was pretty useful, and that is to do early action for your safety school. I'm not saying do early action only for your safety school, but I'm saying it's a good idea to have your safety school be one of your early action schools, because early action doesn't mean that you have to go to that school if you get in. But for me, after I completed my safety safety school application, I was able to focus more of my time and energy into the harder schools and the, I guess, more reach schools that required more work and more time. Yeah, for me this was really helpful because I can't imagine the feeling of doing all my college applications and not really knowing what schools I'm going to be getting in for sure. Although safety schools are generally at like very high acceptance rate, I still want to know that it's 100% certain that I can go to this school if I don't get into anything else. So that's why it helped me a lot to have one of my early action schools be my safety schools. Tip number 6 is to make a separate Google Doc for every college that you're going to apply to for their essays. So if you're applying through the Common App, there's the personal statement essay that you have to do for all the colleges, but the majority of colleges require additional essays for their specific college. So for me, I copied each college's prompts onto a Google Doc and made separate ones for that and put them all in a folder so that when I'm writing it, I can just open separate Google Docs and they will all be there and it will all be just like organized so that I don't have to go to this folder and that folder and try to like find it. Bonus tip is to make sure you back up everything on the internet because you don't know what's gonna happen to your laptop, and trust me, you don't want to have written like essays for 6 colleges and just have them saved on your laptop and then water spills on your laptop and you lose all of those essays. Like, that's going to be a nightmare. And imagine if that happens the day before they're all due and you just haven't turned it in because you're waiting. That's going to be a total nightmare. Back up everything you can on the internet and you can go to sleep knowing that your files will not get destroyed because water spills on your computer. My last tip is something to consider after you're finished with your applications, because I know that once you turn in everything, you're like, I'm finally done. But at the same time, you're still waiting for all the decisions to come out, and at times your mind can be like, oh my god, am I gonna get rejected? Am I gonna get accepted? And like, you can overthink it. So in that moment, I want you to remind yourself that not getting into your dream college is not the end of the world. You can always transfer, you can take a gap year, and you might even end up liking the college that you didn't think you would. So there's always other options, and your mental health is more important above anything, because getting into your dream school, okay, that could be a good thing, but it's not going to be anything if you don't make use of it. So wherever you are, if you make good use of your resources and everything you have, then you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, even if you're not in a particular school. But there's just so much pressure put onto high schoolers to get into that perfect college. Honestly, I don't really see it that way, because at the end of the day, getting into a college doesn't guarantee anything at all. I mean, it could make the process of achieving your goals easier or smoother, you could say, but it's really just what you make of it. So yeah, and know that you're gonna be just fine whichever college you go to, as long as you make the best of it. So those were my 7 tips on applying to college. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions or if you have any videos that you want me to make sure to make sure to comment them down below or DM me on my Instagram right here. I'll be totally happy to hear them, and I hope you have a good day or a good night whenever you're watching this. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video.